Good morning, you're watching KBC Channel 1. This is Good Morning Kenya. This is just our banter here in the morning to just, get you up and going. We have so much lined up for you, including what has been happening in the political scene. Over the weekend, we had quick matters. We all survived the quick, so to speak. However, there is a shift in as far as matters politics are concerned. Yesterday, ODM leader Raila Odinga came out and dismissed claims that his bid, or rather the Orange Democratic, or rather his presidential bid as president, is a project of the rich. There's been talk that a Raila presidency means, status quo. Well, this comes at a time when, the hustler movement, so to speak, led by Deputy President William Ruto, says that it's going to work on an inclusive government, so to speak, starting bottom up. We are yet to understand how it works. Then we're going to be having matters of politics put into perspective by Victor in not too long. But for now, we're going to brief you on what has been making headlines, both in matters politics as well as business. And I'd want to challenge my colleagues here. Do you know there's a place in Kajiado where donkeys hold barazas?
Donkeys hold barazas?
Yes. Every night, they converge at the town square and depart in the morning.
That's a bedroom.
So if your donkey is missing, and they arrive at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
If your donkey is missing from the boma, you can always go to the town square and find it there.
So is this like a routine?
And it is not man-made. So people in Tinga, aka Oletepesi in Kajiado, say that when you visit there, that is an anomaly you're bound to find.
Truly.
That will be coming up in not too long as we focus on those stories.
Regina, donkey is a very sharp animal.
Yeah?
It's a very sharp animal.
It is?
Yes. You can take a donkey to the river once. When you go back to the house, let it go. It will go to the river. It's very sharp.
And you've said they're not managed, so this is like a routine.
Yes. And even residents of that area do not understand exactly what makes them do what they do. However, within the Ma community, they do not even, for them, donkeys are for transportation and such. And even with the lift of the ban in as far as donkey meat is concerned in the country, the Ma community does not consume donkey meat. However, a donkey is considered a woman's best friend because it helps in the chores, fetching water and such in that particular community.
And a man's best friend?
A dog. Now, they say the dog is a man's best friend. That, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I'm just repeating
whatever you make of that statement is up to you. Well.
All right. Okay, so straight into the newspapers here. Let's see what's on the front pages. On the Star, Musalia twist in Ruto running mate battle. Musalia twist in Ruto running mate battle. Remember, this is something we discussed here yesterday with our analyst Tabitha Gutu and Hamisi Boga. And we asked what are some of the chances that are now left for the deputy president in picking a running mate either from western side of Kenya or central province, or central part of Kenya for that matter. And now the headline says that Musalia twist in Ruto running mate battle. DP faces dilemma on appeasing ANC without jeopardizing Mount Kenya block. All right. Still there, we have got pictures of bleeding continues in ANC as Marende ditches Mudavadi. We have got Mudavadi, Marende, who decamped to DAPK, led by Wafula Wamunyinyi there yesterday at Chui House. Very fast on the second page here, man killed during protest over teacher death, and Dindi was on a boda on his way work when he was shot. This is a stray bullet, and residents of Game Village were protesting the death of Calvin's Okello, who was a teacher at Ramula Miss Secondary School. Police said that he died by suicide. State dismisses claims CBC system rollout was rushed. This is amid concerns raised by several stakeholders together with court case seeking to quash the curriculum. And there you have it. Now, the issues of domestic violence continues to dot this part of newspaper here. Love triangle link in police couple murder suicide. Their families say that they would be buried separately at their ancestral homes. It has happened again, another killing of a police officer by a police officer. This time they were husband and wife. Now it said that detectives said that a check of their latest communications showed that Andati accused his wife of infidelity and at one point had considered murder. That is on the Star there. And deeper into the papers, Musalia twist in Ruto running mate battle. Again, this is something that we talked about here yesterday and even in the past. So the Star says that yesterday Ruto affirmed that the details of his political pact with Musalia would be made public in the next few days after ratification of by party organs. In picking his running mate, the DP faces a tough situation. Now, how to appease the Mount Kenya vote bloc without jeopardizing his party membership with partnership rather with Musalia Mudavadi and ANC camp. So that is there. Ruto about to face to back 35% allocation to counties. During their meeting yesterday by the parliament members of ANC who met yesterday at the DP's residence, Deputy President said that UDA says that it will push for an allocation of at least 35% of national revenue to counties. Now, it is quite interesting because they say that they are going to push it in Parliament, yet during the BBI, remember the BBI provided for this, and it was to go to a referendum for this one to be ratified and to be passed. But then now they say that the UDA allies will push it in Parliament for it to be passed. And remember the DP has been saying that there are certain laws that need parliamentary processes for them to be passed, not a referendum. And this is one of them. Somebody said that this is a smart move to woo governors who are, or people who are vying for those particular seats. Finally, Jubilee to unveil Raila as joint candidate. Party Vice Chairman Muradi says that plans are at advanced stage to formally back the ODM boss. They were speaking yesterday in Muranga where they met leaders, business leaders. They had a meeting with the religious leaders and other youth leaders in that particular region. Steph.
Okay, so with me here is the Daily Nation. I'll quickly take you through what is making the front page. We have, does sacked varsity boss hold a fake PhD? This is the case of Masai Mara University, which is once again on the spot after the academic papers of the man who had been running the institution for the last 2 years came into question. Documents obtained by Nation show that Kich Onyango Magak, who was fired last week as acting vice chancellor, holds a PhD from an online university neither recognized nor accredited anywhere in the world. That's just it. There's also a last moment of the ill-fated police couple that happened a day before Constable Abel Andari died in a suspected murder-suicide. He had confiscated his wife Dorcas Chebet's phone on suspicion that she was having an affair. And we have seen cases of murder between police couples rise in the past months, and this is very worrying. Hopefully, measures will be taken to help curb this menace. And a special report there, end of malaria. There's been a groundbreaking mix of science, public health intervention, and dog resilience, slowly reimagining how the world will fight malaria in the future. For East Africa, the results are already encouraging. To matters business, court case gave KFC leeway to import chips The fast food chain was specific about the varieties of potatoes it wanted, which were not locally available, but anti-graft agency struck a debilitating blow, and we'll get into this later on. This is on page 12. And then another story making the front page: American varsity Don faces child pornography, and this is on page 3. A U.S. citizen and lecturer at St. Paul's University is accused of child pornography, and this is Joseph William Black Jr. He will be held for 2 weeks in Nairobi to allow police to conduct investigations. On matters politics, Raila meets Muranga leaders, lobbying for Kenneth continues. Those are some of the stories making the headline. We'll get into detail in a few. Doreen, to you.
All right, so let's start with that planned meeting whereby the president is set to hold meeting with legislators from Mudavadi's backyard, that is of the Western region. And that meeting is actually expected to take place today, where he's set to meet MPs from the Luhya community who support the Azimio la Umoja movement in what appears to be a move to counter the new alliance that was perhaps formed between the DP and the ANC party leader, that is Musalia Mudavadi. Still on politics, just after that earthquake, as we keep mentioning it, a lot has been said, or is still being said, about Musalia Mudavadi, and also what is said to happen to the other two various OCA principals, that is Gideon Moi as well as Kalonzo Musyoka. And now this article just highlights why Mudavadi decided to team up with DP Ruto, and part of what is coming up is the night-long talks, which is one of the many secret meetings to explore the possibility of the duo teaming up, continuing to say that the DP left Amani National Congress Chief Musalia Mudavadi's office on Nairobi's Riverside Drive at 4 a.m. That was on Friday, on January 14th, just continuing to highlight one of those key meetings that the duo held. This was before that particular announcement that happened on Sunday. Also just saying that the two and close advisors had been holed up in the offices to hammer out deal between their parties, ANC and the UDA, which is associated to Deputy President William Ruto. And again, just as I mentioned, after that particular announcement, a lot again is also being said about the two OCA principals. Which way will they choose to join Azimio? Will they choose to go at it alone? And now pundits say that this is now in particular, or in respect to Kalonzo Musyoka, saying that he has the option of running for presidency alone and lose, or join Azimio or Kenya Kwanza alliance of Ruto, Wetangula and Mudavadi. And again, remember that there was a time whereby Kalonzo Musyoka dismissed working with Raila Odinga again, whereby he said that he cannot work with him again for the third time. So really, what options does he have after that announcement that happened on Sunday there? And away from matters politics, 4 killed in Bungoma road accident, and the police blame the trucks. Remember that there has been really an ongoing tussle between the trucks which have been stuck in Malaba area. This is because of the COVID certificate and the recent number of death cases which are being reported in that particular area, or areas near to that, are being linked to the trucks which have been stuck in that area. But also remember that yesterday there were talks that the government of Kenya and the government of Uganda are planning to see how best they can just do away with that COVID certificate, or just see how best they could help the truck drivers, so that that stalemate or snarl-up which has been witnessed in that area for the past number of weeks can at least be done away with. And also, IEBC is still in a bid to meet its target of registration of voters, and so far it's saying that it has missed in its target in this first week of listing, whereby they just say that 229,843 people have registered as voters in the first week, and this was not what they were targeting. Remember that in this second voter listing or voter registration, they are planning to at least register about 4.5 million Kenyans, and this is why there are calls everywhere to see how Kenyans can go and get registered as voters to at least exercise their rights come August 9th. Ray.
Now, quick sneak peek of the Standard. More so, some of the stories quite similar here. Focus on matters politics, the aftermath, the question after Mudavadi's celebration on Sunday, so to speak, where he came out and said strongly that he will be running for the presidency there. And the question has been, so what next in as far as matters politics are concerned? So, Deputy President allies endorse ANC Ford Kenya Pact as he pledges to make public the details of the agreement. So the header here is, we will reveal the deal with Mudavadi in due course. Now, this comes at a time when Kalonzo accuses Mudavadi of betrayal as ANC boss reveals state was pushing Oka principles to back Raila. Western leaders on the other side say the move is suicidal. Is it? Now, Atuoli also comes out guns blazing. These are some of the issues that are going to be put into perspective as you delve into a current affairs conversation this morning with Victor Olo. So you're in good company. Wait till then, and your feedback is very much welcome with regard to this particular conversation, as well as stories that we are broadcasting for you. Our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. Now, we have brought back the conversation about opening of the servers. Now, this comes at a time when activist has asked the judge to stop the IEBC boss from overseeing the August elections for failing to open the servers in the 2017 presidential contest. We'll be giving you details of that, and also just recap if you want to look at what has been happening in the corridors of justice. Well, you can find this on our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke, under the scales of justice. Then about money, untapped wealth, where money grows on trees, does it? This has also been captured in the business segment of this particular daily, and this is about, the retailers. We also have investments and such. So that is what has found itself on the front page of the Standard this morning, with a caption there featuring ODM leader Raila Odinga and Peter Kenneth. The scribe chooses to go with courting the mountain. You can get a copy, but for conversations that are detailed and candid, we have people and politics coming up in not too long. That's just a quick sample of what we have on our dailies this morning.
All right, so looks like we're continuing with what and how our dailies are looking like, and maybe I can just run you through that particular story on why Mudavadi decided to team up with DP Ruto. Remember that again, after that particular announcement, a lot is being talked about the ANC party leader and perhaps even that fallout with the various Oka principles. And just going by this particular article, saying that the Deputy President William Ruto left Amani National Congress Chief Musalia Mudavadi's office on Nairobi's Riverside Drive at 4 a.m. That was on Friday, on 14th. This was way before the earthquake announcement. And the two and close advisors had been holed up in the offices to hammer out a deal between their parties, that is ANC's, Musalia Mudavadi's party, and the UDA's, which is allied to Ruto. The night-long talks, according to sources who requested anonymity, was one of the many secret meetings they had held to explore the possibility of working together. Now, the question remains, what happens to the two Oka principles, that is Kalonzo Musyoka as well as Gideon Moi? Again, also political pundits are coming out to say just what could be the options of these two, and possibly also just targeting it towards Kalonzo Musyoka. And just also, I can perhaps also look at this particular article, which says that Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has been thrown into a dilemma after the collapse of One Kenya alliance, with his allies divided on what his next political stop should be. While some think he should join Raila Odinga's Azimio la Umoja movement and negotiate for a key position, but also this comes at a time after Kalonzo Musyoka dispelled any talks of ever working with Raila Odinga. Just going by what his statement said is that he could not and he cannot work with him again for the third time. So clearly, looking at what happened on Sunday, really, what options does he have? Is it going by what the pundits are saying, or possibly choosing to go at it alone and vie for the presidency alone and perhaps lose, just going by also what this article is saying, or even possibly just choosing to perhaps swallow his pride and join Kenya Kwanza, which is the alliance of Ruto and Ruto, Wetangula and Mudavadi. So clearly, I mean, just when you look at what really has been happening in the political scene, does he really have options? And if he does, what kind of options does he have? And also, away from that, we can perhaps also look at this particular story where the IEBC is really trying to ensure they meet its target of registering 4.5 million Kenyans in the second bid of voter listing, or if you may, voter registration. Going by what they are announcing right now is this is actually their weekly report since this particular listing began, the second of its kind. They're revealing that the campaign, which began on January 17th, missed the target of about 1.5 million voters. And the report also shows Nairobi had the highest number of new registered voters with about 19,910 new voters against a target of 178, which is what they had hoped for in this second voter registration. And this was followed by Kiambu in a distant second with 11,642 new voters against a target of 100,000. Clearly, just going by this particular figures, showing how they're really missing on what they had planned. This is when it comes to this voter registration. And also other counties leading in the pack include Kakamega with about 9,183, Nakuru with 8,994, Kilifi with 8,654, Mombasa around 7,000 new voters, Meru 7,424, and Siaya 6,260. Also, the article continues to highlight the counties which have registered actually new voters in this second edition of voter listing, and this include Lamu, Mandera, Marsabit counties which have registered new and actually very, very few voters. So the question is, will they meet their target of 4.5 million in this new exercise that they have embarked on? And even as we talk about perhaps them meeting their new target, what is also coming out is that this was mentioned by the IEBC chairperson, that is Wafula Chebukati, says that they have now also commenced on voter registration for citizens residing outside Kenya at embassies, high commissions and consulates in the US, Qatar, Germany, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, South Sudan, and the United Kingdom. These are just some of the areas where they have also embarked on voter registration, or if you may, the voter listing. But this is how the figures look like currently, even as they try to meet their 4.5 million target. And that is how the dailies look like for you this Tuesday morning. We now want to start on our first conversation of the day on people and politics.